Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. If there's ever been a more important time within which to subscribe, to watch, to comment, and to share, it's now. Why? Because mainstream or cable news media is out of control. And it is places like here, independent, we're completely independent, that you're going to get raw and unfiltered facts. You're going to get truth. I'm going to talk about, for example, this weekend, MSNBC just announced some pretty significant shakeups within the network. My friend, Joy Reid, her show canceled. The Readout is being canceled, but it's not just Joy Reid. Alex Wagner and Katie Fang lost their anchor slots. And yeah, I know that bullshit. Oh, but don't worry, we're going to stay on as correspondents and analysts. Let me be very clear about something. I saw the same shit happen with Allison Camrata, a friend of mine, went to college together. Oh, don't worry, I'm going to be staying on as a correspondent. I'm going to be doing special correspondent work. No, you didn't. You saw her once in about a year. It's a way of them not having to pay them out on the contract, keeping them under lock and key, but getting rid of them, which is part of what they're trying to do. I mean, we also recently saw something incredibly similar, again, over at CNN. That one was with Jim Acosta, who I speak to all the time. Jim and I have become very good friends. In fact, on our Substack, on Jim's Substack, and I now have mine too, at The Real Michael Cohen, every Monday we have Monday Michael, or is it Michael Monday? I think it's Michael Monday, where the two of us engage in like a 35, 40-minute conversation about the news of the week. And it's become incredibly popular. Now, I want to show you a clip, for example, about his plan after leaving CNN. Because like Jim, Joy, she's not leaving quietly. By the way, nor should she. And during a Zoom call on Sunday, Joy got incredibly emotional, explaining that her show has value, that she can't understand why this is happening. Makes no sense. Play the clip.
I've been talking to so many people, but I've been through every emotion from, anger, rage, disappointment, hurt, feeling that, guilt, that I let my team lose their jobs. But in the end, where I really land and where I've landed on today is just gratitude, just pure gratitude. And gratitude, not just because people would take the time to get on a call like this, or to take care of me, but also that my show had value, and that that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby, or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted, and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them. Or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution,
Yeah. Now let me also show you her sign off during her final show. I watched it as I was also watching Don Lemon on his TikTok, sitting there eating popcorn, commenting. They did it to Don Lemon too. Here's the sign off, followed by some incredibly kind words from Jen Psaki. Play the clip.
Shout out to our amazing readers, our audience. I just love running into y'all in the airport, on these streets, and on social media. I could not love or appreciate you more. Thank you, thank you, thank you for holding us down. Almost 5 years. We are a toddler, and we out in these streets in this world, and we are not going to stop. That is tonight's readout. You can follow me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, and on Substack at substack.joy. It's at joyandread.substack.com. Also on TikTok and Facebook at Joy Reid Official. Inside with Jen Psaki starts now.
Okay. I know Joy just ended her show by thanking her team, which is the most authentically Joy thing to do, I can tell you. And they are also a very incredible team. But I want to start this show tonight by thanking her. I want to thank her because she's done amazing work here. She does tell stories no one tells. She does that fearlessly on her show, but also for the person that she is. And even before I met Joy Reid, and I didn't meet her till I started working her, I felt like I kind of knew her. I don't know if you relate to this. I felt like she was kind of talking directly to me through the screen. I know many of you watching at home know exactly what I mean. And then when I got here, she became my office neighbor, literally 2 doors down. And she is the best office neighbor I could have asked for. I mean, she's somebody whose mind and her talent and her fierceness I admire so much, but she's also someone who I kind of just love running into in the hallway or chatting with on the set during specials, as my colleagues were just talking about anything, what's happening in the world, what's going on in her life. And I'm going to miss all of that. And so thank you to Joy Reid. I just wanted to start there.
Meanwhile, while mainstream media is silencing strong voices, Caroline Leavitt, press secretary, she's out there bragging to Fox. It's about the only place they can go to. But bragging to Fox that Trump is winning as a judge rejected the Associated Press's attempt to regain access to the briefing room, to the Oval Office and Air Force One. Play the clip.
The winning continues here at the White House every day. Today, a federal judge right here in Washington, D.C., denied the Associated Press's emergency request for a temporary restraining order to restore their privilege of returning to the White House press pool. And the judge's denial of the Associated Press's request reinforces what I said from the podium last week and what President Trump has been saying. Covering the American presidency in the most intimate and limited spaces in this White House, in the Oval Office, on the Air Force One, is a privilege. It is not a legal right. And we want all voices to have that opportunity. And that's why we've expanded the James S. Brady briefing room to invite truly legitimate, independent journalists, podcasters, and other media types into that room to cover this president with honesty and accuracy and with real mindfulness of what the American people actually care about.
Good. There should have always been more seats. I would like to have a seat there. But I can't compare myself, as popular as this show may be and all of my social media, to the Associated Press, which gets picked up by 62,000 newspapers across the world, across the entire globe. The Associated Press is barred from the briefing room, barred from Oval Office, barred from Air Force One, because they refuse to call the Gulf of Mexico, Trump's new term, the Gulf of America. That is not a proper reason. That is should not be something that the president takes offense to. You want to call it, call it. You don't want to call it, don't call it. I mean, it's the same thing with this whole nonsense about what pronouns or what you want to call. Who cares? Who cares? Because you changed the name with a Sharpie? Leave it alone. That's a reason to take a valid news source and throw them out? I don't agree with that. Now, later in the evening, Rachel Maddow boldly spoke out, and I love Rachel. I really do. I think she's incredibly gutsy. I don't always agree with her on everything, but she is one gutsy person. She boldly spoke out against MSNBC, her employer, and pointed out the danger of their decisions. Because it's not just Joy Reid. It's Joy Reid. It's Katie Fang. It's so many different people that they are just getting rid of, one after the other after the other. Play the clip.
In all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two, count them, two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Phang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
And I agree with her. She also goes on to say that this is how the network's decisions hurt more people than just the anchor. It's going to hurt more than Katie Phang, more than Alex Wagner, more than just Joy Reid. It's going to hurt many more people. Play the clip.
But one thing you cannot necessarily see is that the people who get our shows on the air, they're really being put through the ringer. Dozens of producers and staffers, including some who are among the most experienced and most talented and most specialist producers in the building, are facing being laid off. They're being invited to reapply for new jobs. That has never happened at this scale in this way before when it comes to programming changes, presumably because it's not the right way to treat people, and it's inefficient and it's unnecessary, and it kind of drops the bottom out of whether or not people feel like this is a good place to work, and so we don't generally do things that way. Maybe all of our folks, including most of the people who are getting this very show on the air right now, maybe they will all get new jobs here, and I hope they do, but in the meantime, being put in this kind of limbo, the anxiety and the discombobulation is off the charts at a time when this job already is extra stressful and difficult. It is not news for me to tell you that the press and freedom of the press are under attack in a way that is really, it's a big deal for our country. It's very visceral for us here. I know that the business of the press is not an easy thing, and I know that no job is forever. But I think I'm safe in saying for all of us anchors who you know through the TV, please know that what pains us the most is not what happens to us. It is what happens to our coworkers on whom we depend and who you don't necessarily know, but we respect and love them and depend on them. And did I mention we respect them?
Yeah. Look, it's why I keep saying and why I said at the beginning of this episode, make sure that you subscribe here. Make sure that you watch to the end. Make sure that you comment, because that'll make me better on this show. And here on this show, as with all the Midas Touch properties, with my Mea Culpa podcast, with my Substack, you're only going to get the raw and unfiltered truth. And that's something that we need right now. If it's something positive about Trump, a policy, or any of the people that are now in that inner circle, you'll get it here. And if it's not, you're going to get that here too. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.